Hello again, and thank you for joining Jeff and Jenny's Classic Restorations. Well, this is the second part of last week's video, which was just done a day afterwards because the video was far too long. It was over 20 minutes, so it would have been ridiculously long if I'd filmed that on top. So I have actually done that, which was going to be the trying to cut some keys, or cut a key for the steering lock on the Velsolex. So in a minute, come and see how I got on with that. And what I'm doing now is just a little bit of preparation, trying to get the wheel sanded and painted a bit. And but I'm still waiting for the axle and the freewheel that's coming from France, and for some reason it's stuck at Paris airport. There's some paperwork issue. I don't think it's customs issue, thank God, but I'm still waiting for that to move. So I can't really get on with the wheel after that until I get these other little bits. So come and see how I got on with the cutting the key. That was yesterday, and also anything else comes up in the week, any updates, I get deliveries, I'll do that at the end, and that will be this week's video. And then next week, hopefully I'm sure we will be going for the engine start. If I can't get the back wheel, doesn't matter too much, because we only want to test the engine. So that will be next week, the engine, and come and see how we get on with the cutting of the key. Well, as I mentioned, this is the next day from doing the last week's video, and I say it was going to take much too long if I was to do this as well as the saddle from last week. So what I'm going to do, at least with this way, I've got lots of things waiting to come from France. A couple of things are caught up in customs for doing something, I'm not sure. But so next week I'm going to, on this later on in this video, throughout the week, I should get some more bits. So so the next week after this one, we should hopefully be able to go for, well, I say I'd like to go for a start, but you know what happened. So I'm just going to give this a go. This is thanks to Classic Restorations 49 in France. Now he does a video on his Velsolex 3800. It's the same principle, and normally I wouldn't really have bothered with this. You just leave it, but I thought, well, we might as well get it working. And because I subscribed to his channel, he sold me 3 on eBay, but he knew that I was a subscriber, so he sent me a free one, because the chances are you're going to mess it up. So the principle is, there's your blank key that will go in there. As it goes in, it pushes up these little tabs in there, and what we want to do, we could go to a locksmith, but let's try and do it ourselves. If I get left with one key, maybe I will. But so the plan is, what we've got to do is file a little bit out of the key, so those little tabs all eventually drop back inside, so it enables it to turn. That's the plan. I'll show you. I'm basically just copying what Classic Restoration 49 did. So if this goes wrong, please go and see his channel. He does some really interesting things on the Velsolex. So let's make a start. Right, before we start, as I've mentioned before, we put the key in and you get these little tabs come up. There's 5 of them. The 5th one isn't up, so it's really only 4 to do. So the first thing we need to do, this is the smallest ruler I've got, we need to go from the border there, the edge of the key, and work out how far it is to the first tab, which is actually 15 millimeters, and then these tabs are approximately 5 millimeters apart. So what I'm going to do is measure down there, what was it, the first one, 15 millimeters, and make a mark where the first tab will go down, and then 5 millimeters back, hopefully you'll see what I mean when we do it, 5 millimeters back, which will be in line with these tabs. So I'm just going to mark them up. So it's 15 millimeters to the first one, and then 5 millimeters back. If we can line that up, and then we can measure the height of these tabs, and just gives us a rough idea how much we need to cut into the key. So I say this might go totally wrong, but let's see how we get on. I'll just mark this up, and I'll come back to you. Right, so I've marked them up 5 millimeters apart. And now we need to just have a quick look at the height of these pins. Well, I just measured the first one up, which is about 2mm. So what we need to do now is cut into this first mark there, roughly 2mm. We need to try and keep the cut smooth as well, because it will stick as it goes in. So here we go. First key, we're going to try and cut into there a little bit, and we'll see how things, if that moves down a little bit, and we can get an idea of how we're going. So let's use the Dremel, I think, and see if we can not mess this up. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to make it, to start with, a sort of gentle V into that area there. We want to go down about 2mm, but I'm not going to overdo it. We'll just keep checking as we go. So let's just see if we can start doing this. Okay, I'll switch it on first. Okay, let's see if that's made any difference. See, now it's becoming a little bit stiff. So what we need to do is kind of round that corner off. So let me just do that, and then we come back. Right, it's a bit sticky at the moment. Like I say, all this can be rounded off later, but if you push that in now, where we just cut it, you can see now it's level with the, that was 2mm, that's level with the cylinder. So that will turn now, that one. So we need to go again. That's not as high, it's probably 0.5mm. So just a little bit down for that one, which will be another 5mm apart. So we'll try that one. So this one not as much. Okay, try that. Probably too sharp. Okay, yeah, see, so I think maybe it's not right. Bear with me. Yeah, so you can see there now, almost level, with nothing sticking out underneath. That's the main thing. So just a tiny little bit off of there now. Okay, that's the second one down, just a little bit off of that. That's now, they're both down with nothing sticking up under there. So I'll carry on, I won't bore you with the other two. I'll try and judge the depth of these, and we'll see how we get on with that. Hopefully the other two will go, fingers crossed, okay, and hopefully it'll work. Well, after a lot of palaver and 2 keys later, this is the third. Finally got it right. That can go in there now, and you can see all the little tabs are all level. So we'll move outside now. I don't know if this is going to work, because we need to get a little pin in there that stops it, because as you turn it, it will just push it out. But we'll have a quick look outside now and see what else we need to do. Right, so this little bit goes in there with this little cam thing that pushes the lock up and down. So we just slide that in there for now. See, now that does turn, but it pushes out. So that's got to be locked in there. As you can probably see one of my earlier videos, I drilled out the little locking thing in there. So, and that hopefully will stop it pushing out and will turn that lock thing. So I'll show you what my friend in France did, see if that worked, and I'll come back to you. Right, so what we need to do now is get the, well, there used to be a lock pin in there, which what you use is a pop rivet. Just cut the end off about 4mm, because it's about 5mm you need to drill it out. So just pop that down the hole for a minute. Very fiddly. That's not quite gone down. Yes, it has now, yeah, I think. Okay, right, I'll be back in a second. Okay, and just to, this is dripping already, just to hold that in place, we just put just a tiny little bit of super glue in there. And we'll leave that 5 minutes and let's see what happens. Well, that's about 5 minutes. Fingers crossed, pleased that this work after all that work and 3 keys later. So we're looking for the little stopper thing to come out there. There we go. So that's it. Hopefully without messing the camera up. There we are. And there's your steering lock. And just make sure it goes back in again. There we go. Nice and smooth. That's it. So finally, 3rd key lucky, thank God. That's now working. I can stick that on the other key ring, and at least I've got something to sort of lock it with when I go out. So that's that. Well, here we are back again after about another, well, 5 days. I finally got me bits from France, so it's actually finished cosmetically now. We only got to get the engine running, which hopefully will be all right. As I say, I've got the new freewheel on there now. This is all smooth now. I did have a little bit of trouble with the space inside of things. It was too far over, but I've managed to jiggle that about now. Had the new brake cable come for the rear brakes. They're working okay now, as are the front. I think I mentioned that last time. So I've still got this little bit of brake cable. I just didn't want to cut that off until I was sure everything was okay there. So got my Velsolex sticker from France, which I was hoping for gold, but never mind. And I've done a little bit of pinstriping here, there, gold, probably a little bit more later on. But generally that's it. That's the cosmetics done. Around here I've put on the cover for now, the flywheel cover. I've still got to get the flywheel on. And I'll get that on, and then hopefully next week, all being well, we'll get spark or something at least, and then we can try and go for a start on it. But other than that, it's cosmetically finished. Okay, well, not particularly a long video, but I had to split the last video and this one into 2 pieces, and it would have been way too long. So I say next week we'll come back and we'll try for at least a spark, and all being well, a start. But you know my luck, so we'll see how we get on with that. So until then, you take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.